Hi guys, and welcome to my video on how to speed up your computer's boot time. Before I start the video, I just wanted to say that these fixes will help you, but if you really want to speed up your boot time, you ought to get a solid state drive. It is not mechanical, has no moving parts, therefore the access times are much quicker. First thing you're going to want to do is make your hard drive your first boot device. What that means is your computer is looking initially on your hard drive for something to boot up into, like an operating system. So go ahead, restart your computer. During the splash screen, hit delete or F2, F10, or F12. It's going to be one of those. Go into your BIOS, and you're going to want to navigate. Everyone's different, so I can't exactly tell you how to get there. You're going to want to navigate to your first boot device selection menu, and just highlight your hard disk, hit F10 to save, and enter. Alright, next thing you're going to want to do is delete all the extraneous fonts that you don't want to use. So go ahead, right click, make a backup folder, just in case you ever need the fonts you deleted, and continue to copy and paste all the fonts into that backup folder. You can place that folder wherever you like if you want to. I'm just putting it on my desktop for now. And I've actually fast forwarded this, I forgot I did. But right now I am highlighting all the fonts that I do not want, and I'm just simply going to delete those. You'll see shortly that Windows is going to give me a message telling me that I cannot delete a system font, which is actually a good thing. It's preventing you from deleting something that you may need in the future. So now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to give yourself a static IP address. Typically, your computer will most likely have a dynamic IP address, which means that every time it connects to the router, it's going to get a new IP address, which means that during boot up, when it's initially connecting, it's going to take time requesting that IP address from the router, which in turn takes more time booting up. So you're going to want access to your router to get some information from there. So you're going to need to know your router's IP address. To find that out, just go to the start bar, type in CMD, hit enter, type in ipconfig, and then below the line adjacent to default gateway, as you can see on mine, it says 192.168.2.1. That is your router's IP address, and it is typically the same for most people. Now you're going to want to go ahead and go to the start menu, type in network, and go to network and sharing center. Go to change adapter settings, right click your network adapter, hit properties, and go to Internet Protocol 4. Then click use the following IP address. Next, you're going to want some information, so go to your browser and type in your router's IP address. And then, as you can see here shortly, I'm going to go to a list of the currently connected IP addresses that are using the router, and those are the IP addresses not to use. So select something that's not on that list. It should be, 192.168.2. whatever, and that will remain your IP address so long as you keep this setup going. If you hit tab, it'll automatically enter your subnet mask, and then for the default gateway, just type in the router's IP address. Next, in your router's menu, you want to find your DNS addresses and put them into your configuration over here. When that's all said and done, and you've got it all set up, you've got the numbers in correctly, you're going to want to hit validate settings and then hit OK. As you can see, I'm going to do that here shortly. If I could just simply remember some numbers. And as you can see here, it did not find any errors, which is obviously a very good thing. It means you successfully have set up a static IP address and you're ready for the next step. But first, I just want to show you guys that the internet connection does actually work. I know that YouTube's really paranoid, so I just figured I'd show it to you just so you know I'm not full of crap. And then on to the next step. Next, hit the Windows orb. Into the search menu, type in dev mgmt.msc. Now we're going to change a setting on the hard drive and uninstall unwanted devices. So just locate your hard drive on the devices and enable write caching. Next, just find a device that you typically just don't use at all and go ahead and uninstall it. I had to use an example for the video, so I just used the virtual audio cable. And that's it for this step. Now we're going to uninstall programs that we don't frequently use. This step is pretty self-explanatory. Just go to Add or Remove Programs by typing in Programs on the Start menu search bar and navigate to the programs that you do not use frequently and simply uninstall them. You will have to restart for some of them, so if necessary, go ahead and do that, or if you want to, just put it off. Now we're going to want to defragment and scan the registry. When you defragment the registry, you sort of kind of clean up the order that the files are in so they're not all over the place and it's not looking for them in all sorts of different locations. By scanning the registry, you'll typically have files from programs you recently uninstalled. The uninstaller doesn't get everything, so it's loading up those files occasionally when you just don't have the program at all, in turn taking up more time again. So just go ahead and do that. You can use whatever registry cleaner you like. I use Wise because it has a scheduler, so I just schedule it for every Sunday, which I would recommend to any of you as a matter of fact. It is definitely a good thing to do to keep your computer in good condition. Alright, as you may have noticed, sometimes the registry cleaner doesn't want to delete all the redundant and extraneous files, so you can go ahead and just manually do that yourself. There's no harm in it. Next is very important. You're going to want to defragment your hard drive. After uninstalling and reinstalling so many programs on your hard drive and occasionally uninstalling and reinstalling the same program, the information for that program will end up in different areas on the hard drive. As we know, the hard disk is a plate in which stores data in different sectors. So for instance, I use Steam, but I've uninstalled it and reinstalled it a few times, so when Windows boots up it loads up Steam, but that data is fragmented, so it's going to have to do extra revolutions to find it. Next, you're just going to want to run a simple virus scan for obvious reasons. So just go to whatever you use and run a simple scan. For the last step, we're just going to want to change the boot configuration. So go to the search bar and type in MSConfig and hit enter. Now go over to boot and advanced options, and if you have a multi-core processor, which you likely do, use all of the cores to go ahead and boot it up and click max memory. Now you're just going to want to disable programs and services that you don't need from booting up and starting up when Windows loads, which will definitely help with the boot time. And after that, you're all done on MSConfig. Just hit apply. It'll ask you to restart, and hopefully this video helped you enough to shave a few seconds off your boot time.